See the little reflection up there?
Yeah.
Who's that? That. Let's see the reflection up there. Let's see.
There's a lot of movement up there from the cars passing by.
She's a lot of dogs, that was reflection too. It's a reflection movie. I don't understand what you're saying. What? Kennel. No, she was good. She was good? Yeah.
She was pretty hard when she first got here.
How long has she been here about?
Since Saturday, I want to say. And that bark at the tree is sort of what she would do.
So that might be that she's barking out of. Was there growling in the barking at all, or?
No, just very suddenly she would just.
Yeah, it's because she can't hear how loud she's doing it too.
Right.
And so that's part of it. I would suspect. I mean, not to say that there might not be some reactivity. I mean, some like fear-based reactivity. She's clearly a little shy. I'm not sure. But just from what I've seen so far, I wonder if it's not like attention seeking or frustration. You know, like where she sees something or smells something and gets excited.
I'm not sure. She didn't have any interest in any games when Beth was back in the kennel. Flirt stick, balls, squeaky stuff.
So we'll take a look at that.
But she was pretty nervous back in that evaluation area.
Yeah.
And she just was kind of panting like that and kind of just pacing around, not really able to.
Hey, I was just coming to show my son. Oh, sure. Are you guys close?
There's doing eval down there, so things like.
The RNC chair writes previously said politics is a team sport and we can't win unless we rally around it.
So you've already interacted with her in here?
I have not. No,
okay.
Beth has. I was watching through the gate.
Yeah, interesting, like active avoidance of that. Let's make sure that you two are cool first. We'll let her just kind of orient. And even when I just moved right there, I don't know if it was the movement out of her peripheral or if that she saw something that she like, you know, cringed and ducked for a second. You want to start smelling this? Smell all the dogs who have touched it? Well, she's got some like definite hyper scanning for visual stimuli. But she's got some fear stuff too that might have her, you know, like I'm seeing more fear in here, more shut down outside. So we'll see. Has she been okay with dogs historically?
I mean, she came from a shelter in Texas with like 6 dogs.
Okay.
She was running around.
Okay.
You know this is, yeah, this is what I thought I was saying.
What? Yeah, she's the Deaf Dogs of Oregon or whatever. Let's see, yeah, in here, she is not into this, but this would also be kind of indicative of a dog who was left in a kennel by themselves outside and are uncomfortable inside and have learned to hyper fixate on movement in the environment, and it's just kind of habitual. So there wasn't anything that looked like over stereotypy, almost.
Why do you think she freaked out and reacted like on the person that picked her up at the airport? Like, just because she was just...
It's so many factors could be involved in that. I have no idea what their approach was, what her experience was, what, you know.
I mean, she freaked out on Beth the first day, like flipped out on Beth.
Like when you say flipped out.
Like Beth went up to her kennel and was afraid of her because she explosively reacted.
She was reacting. Yeah. Like in a distance increasing.
Distance increasing for sure.
Okay. That's what I'm like, okay. Yeah, and that might be, I mean, she's definitely an Aussie, like probably under socialized and a little bit scared.
But you didn't get her to bite you instantly.
No. I mean,
that's fine. I mean, I don't have to give them
so far so good. Yeah. So far so good.
To give them, I mean, they're gonna do what they're gonna do with her anyway. But I just want to give them insights.
Yeah.
Interesting, weird dog.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how she relaxes with Kirby because she's doing appropriate dog scared stuff. Like, I'm scared of you, we haven't really interacted yet, we're in here, I'm gonna like say hi to you a few times to make sure that we're cool. Okay. You know, so it was like appropriate. However, I see some behaviors that aren't typical as well, and it could indicate, you know, something's off, or it could indicate like, hey, this dog has nothing else to do. And in this environment, she's much less, you know, there's less going on, and so it makes the interaction, social interaction, much more intense than outside where she has like 30 things to look at and smell, you know? So she's not as torn in where she puts her attention, so it's more, you know, and in there she definitely had like, I could see this dog being reactive the first couple of days and calming down, and then just having certain triggers but workable.
Right.
But just understanding that this dog's probably gonna, she's very receptive to like leash pressure, so that's why when nothing thus far that is like majorly behaviorally unsound or.
That probably just did a good job of warming her up to this environment, honestly.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like she got transported well. It doesn't sound like she came off transport well.
Well, definitely, like with her looking for my hands to see if there were treats or leash, like when I was giving her eye contact, like that says that someone has taught her, she has expectations, so that says good handling, you know. So probably.
But you're a pretty good dog handler, it turns out.
Why?
Because when we went to do the like scare test with this little dog, she looked at my hands and then was like smelling for treats or a leash.
Oh, good.
So that says that, you know, she's rotating some stuff that you're doing with her. Good job.
Good. Oh, it's almost okay.
That's a pretty rough day.
I know, I'm gonna by myself tomorrow morning too.
Nah, I can go get Diego at 7 in the morning. I'll just bring you back here. You're too tired.
Right.
Yeah, I'll help you out and I'll bail. That's right, we're open, so I guess I won't. You know, I might not be here then.
Oh, either way. I think there's another chick who is going to be observing tomorrow, so. Yeah, a lot of it is sitting around and watching the dog, as it turns out. Just just kind of like waiting and seeing like, you know, how quickly she settles in, how she interacts with the world.
She knows sit and we're working
On off,
Yeah.
how do you teach off?
I don't know. The trainer that came in here was doing this. And she seemed to respond.
Oh, as far as a sign,
Like, yeah, jumping up, because she jumps like a crazy. You gotta.
just do sit.
I know. That's,
Like yeah,
Off is such an asinine command.
yeah. Like, hey, don't do this.
yeah.
Like, just tell them what you want them to do, as long as it's incompatible with that behavior. But a lot of trainers are real stuck on like things like off and stay and da 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 da. And I'm like, listen, I just teach my dog that when they sit, it's just implied that you need to stay. Like, I teach them right off the bat to expect that you stay there until I release you, and then I never have to, because there's never going to be that moment where I'm like, just brush your asshole to the ground and jump back up. That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Thank you. But, you know,
Whatever.
it is one of those things. Yeah, I would just say, you know, incompatible behavior. You know, you can mark things. Do you have a non-verbal like marker signal? Like, I'll do like in place of a clicker or in place of
We do this, right? Yeah.
what is it?
This is
Like this
good
towards
dog
their
or
nose,
whatever.
like nose. We used to work with a deaf pit bull that
Gotcha.
responded.
They
to-
did that?
Yeah, that was good boy.
Okay. I was like, jiggle the, then you jiggle the imaginary balls, and that means good.
Yeah, give him
Like,
the
whoa.
David
Why are you
Bowie.
making that gesture at me? You're making me feel
Goblin
uncomfortable. Okay. I was just curious if that was like an actual American sign language.
I don't know. That was just what Sir Winston responded
Yeah, we just had
to.
a lot of practice with this one dog
Okay.
who knew specific commands.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter what it is, if it's this or if it's this, but you will condition it just the same way you would a clicker.
Yeah, I've done thumbs up
Yeah.
before too.
I just figure like Facebook generation would like quickly respond to that. So kind of watching to see if she's fixating on things with her eyes right there.
She was laying it when she was laying at your feet right there. She was sort of just like tilting
Yeah.
her head every once in a while.
So that's what we're looking for, is like, is she seeing things, or is she noticing small visual things like reflections?
Are you just, because of her breed or because of her
Because there's
disability?
both,
Yeah.
both, because there's also that comes with these white genes is epilepsy and things where they are hyper fixating on little, it's called shadow chasing, or fly chasing, where they're chasing imaginary things, which are low level seizures. And they can also create a seizure by hyperfixating and chasing things, because their temperature goes up and it goes into a seizure sometimes. So,
We had to evaluate a pit bull one time that obsessively chased her tail.
yeah, that's
Like
another
that.
one.
Yeah. That was the first time I ever heard of anything like that.
Yeah, it's surprisingly more common than you might think. And there's a variety of factors, and there's a lot that they don't know. Like, there's all sorts of epilepsy that's like idiopathic, which just basically means technically for no reason, but again, shitty definition, because it's like, we just don't know the reason. Say that, but no, you're a veterinarian who's arrogant. And you're like, I can't figure it out, therefore there should be no reason at all.
Hey, that schooling is pretty hard.
Yeah.
They're smart guys.
Yeah, hey, if they don't know, no one knows. For sure.
Doctors.
So even the way she like will kind of balk at me and kind of shift her weight if I move too quickly, I still think she's, kind of shut down. Do you want to go ahead and make friends with her? You don't have to come in hard eye and all of this, just actually make friends with her is fine.
You want me to come over there or come to me?
Either way, you can do it just the way you feel comfortable. I'll move, since apparently I have
We'll do
this
this.
Velcro dog. rapport pretty quick. When she first took that first treat, she kind of froze and like was like, oh, I'm in so close, I can't think. And now she was like pretty, you know, affiliated with it you pretty quickly. But you want to be careful with your treat bag being in the front. So I like to be able to shift it, only because it can bring scared dogs in closer than they're comfortable.
Yeah.
They come in for the treat and then they look up and then they're like, ah!
Yeah, I sort of starting to get a little uncomfortable, that's why I shifted it over.
Gotcha. You might have already been on
you
the same
on top.
wavelength, but oh.
Did you do that?
So a lot of times, like, you hear me like make little noises like this, and I do it just kind of like to both, you know, there's like kind of a play style when dogs play, like where they're kind of dancing and but they also a lot of times will do the big like jumps and play bounce and things.
And they click in their nails.
Yeah, and they click, you know, and so I never really thought about it. That like the other thing is prey drive, you know, bring her in with movement towards the ground.
Towards the ground.
Yeah, because any sort of prey drive, like it's easier to get if you think of like something jumping around on the ground. So those are, you know, and then I'll do figure eight so that she's able to move her while chasing. She doesn't put herself into, you know, have herself feel too, like all of a sudden into too much of this intense interaction. But it just helps her like be able to shift her body back and forth, and so for her she gets practice moving around like so that she can move, you know, and also so that she, you know, she gets scared. You can teach her to, you know, kind of quickly move and reorient so it's a more polite position for her, or a safer position for her. And so yeah, when she gets a little bit scared and then she is able to like walk over to me for a second and then reapproach you, like brilliant. That's good. But then you want to take your hands off about like a little bit less time than that. So it's like you'll pet her, but you'll like bring your hand back before you would normally, just to like kind of let her out of the intensity of the social interaction, and to see if she comes, like a lot of times that will cause them to like kind of follow you and ask for more attention, and so you can check in. So see how she didn't like immediately kind of come in, or she did kind of come in but then her intensity had dropped. It just kind of shows you, okay, she's a little nervous with this, you know. So if I wanted to see if this was like, you go, oh, okay, she's not really that into this, because I'm, after touching her and moving away, she's not like popping over and looking for more social interaction.
Sort of like the bully test kind of thing.
Exactly, same kind of idea. And if it's shorter, like if the dog was starting to get nervous, like they liked it, they felt like comforted, you know, like, okay, cool, this is pro-social, we're cool. But then the longer that the interaction goes, the more they get unsure. Like that last dog, Coco, would be a good example of that, where you pull back and it can also create like enough little, you know, history in quick succession where she was like, I came in, you know, had a good success, you know, had a good interaction, backed off, did it again. Like it builds up their history of like these short, good interactions. That way you're kind of like building a little foundation and having them kind of build up quicker. So you're training still, you know, you're just training with social pressure in a more appropriate way for shelter dogs. Like, you know, it's endlessly interesting to mess with that. But I find, you know, and then she's like, okay, I'm a little overwhelmed. So she goes over here and she's like laying down, head sideways, not blinking very much, like at a typical rate. Okay, she looks a little bit better now. But now that I'm looking at her, then suddenly there's lots of blinking. So, you know, she's very aware of like social pressure. But, oh, so I started to tell you about the tapping. So then I read the study that was done not that long ago, maybe like a month and a half ago. I read the study about how the sound is also something that is pro-social to dogs, of that like clipping in that succession. And they did like studies where they play the sound of a dog, you know, making that noise, and then also with people making that noise. I was like, that's crazy. I've been doing that for a long time, but I never knew why. Like, I just thought these were the reasons why, you know?
It's like those bad daycare habits that you pick up that work. You keep doing the things that do work, even if you don't know the reason.
Yeah, exactly. Like, your subconscious, you do it because you know it works, but you don't necessarily, you know, you kind of have a theory of why it works, but your interpretation of why it's working, you know, and the behavior, and what it is might be totally off. So it's kind of interesting. I'm like, you know, just something else to think about that I hadn't. I was like, oh, that's really cool. You know, because especially when you're doing your education, but you've already got your hands on so many dogs, so you have like these handling skills, good, bad, or somewhere in the middle. It starts to give more of an explanation of why these things work, and then it kind of just gives you just a much better understanding. Because a lot of times you get people who come out and learn how to do tomorrow.
Sure.
If you wouldn't mind snagging a few for me for guard tests.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Not that you'll have time to like think much or.
I
like-
usually keep an eye out for them anyway, because we do run out really
Yeah.
quickly.
At most of the shelters that I worked at, I've always had like a hidden like stash area
Yeah.
where I'm like, hold on, I got a secret stash of all my good treats and chewies.
That's a good idea. Next time some come in, I'll like hide them for you guys.
Oh, there's a bite right there. Did you see that?
She snagged you?
Yeah, but guarded bite, but it was a redirect bite.
Hey,
So put it right up to his nose. There you go. So watch this. So she see her redirect on this dog will bite you with. Oh, did that scare you? Don't worry.
there's a hand up there too.
I couldn't see the hand. I didn't see. Oh, there it is. Super creepy hand. I would bite that hand.
There you go.
Oh no, what have I done? I'm such a jerk. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's just all the accessories. Nothing fragile. That probably wasn't an amazing spot for it either. Hey.
So he's not blaming, which is not, you know, he's concerned enough about, whoops. But she is de-escalating a little good. Go ahead and let him go. Just drop it. So be careful, don't reach into this if it goes to a dog fight. Just when you see your clear moment, then you can get him if they fight.
You don't have to worry about.
I gotta get him.
Yeah, she's tangled.
See how sharp she came after him right there?
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, alright. The movement, because she's gonna go after the movement.
I'm good on dog fights. I've seen much worse than whatever they're gonna
I'm
put out.
sure. Poor puppy. She's scared. Good girl. Oh. Like I feel a little humpy. So I'm trying to give her a little outlet of just kind of having me in her vision, and because she wanted to take that.
Yeah. She was looking like she was expecting you to throw her a correction or get involved in some way earlier.
Well, I want to see how, yes. So I want her to get, you know, I want her to be able to give herself a break from it, but he keeps on following her, and so she gets back defensive. See how she's like, nah. And she's sharp with movement, so he's a nice slow dog. You gotta watch out for all these little, I don't want her in the corner.
Yeah.
yeah, she's just. Hey, you're gonna get yourself fit. So see how she's starting to corral him and also worried about her starting to guard me from him
Yeah.
because I gave her a safe spot. There was a little pro-social. Got it in there. But she takes, like, again, just like that last dog, takes an incredible amount of body movement. Come here. Good. Good. See how loose she loosens up? Will you block him for a second?
Yeah.
Oh, just let him go. If she comes over and I can't, yeah. I'd rather than that. Oh. See, with me being in.
Yeah.
All right, we're done for today. I'm gonna bring another nice dog in for him real quick.
Okay. What is that? Is that a toy? Is that a fun thing? You're gonna do a fun thing? Don't worry. We're gonna do a fun thing.